boy lost and the little boy found, because they go together, and in fact they find companions in the little girl lost and the little girl found in the book of Songs of Experience. Father, Father, where are you going? Oh, do not walk so fast. Speak, Father, speak to your little boy, or else I shall be lost. The night was dark, no father was there. The child was wet with dew. The mire was deep, and the child did weep, and away the vapour flew. So we have the voice of a boy crying out for his father at the beginning, and the father's walking too fast. And won't speak to him, and won't tell him where to go, so he's going to be lost. And the description in the second verse suggests the night was dark and no father was there. That iambic rhythm, ti-dum, 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 is bleak and surprising, isn't it? The child was wet with dew. The mire was deep and the child did weep, and away the vapour flew. So there's a picture, an utterly bleak picture of a child who has been abandoned by their father. Now let's think a little bit more about symbolism of the father. Who is the father in this poem? Is it God? Is it the father in the skies who's abandoned the child? The father that we saw in spoken of in the little black boy. Has God left and abandoned this child? I think what's important here is to try and think a bit more about Blake's Christianity, because Blake was very much a believer in Jesus Christ the Father. The Christ figure is the Christ of who lives inside all of us. He's not a distant father figure, he's someone that speaks to all of us. He was very against the kind of idea of God being a God in the skies, and in fact in other writings he calls him Old Nobodaddy, if I can say it correctly, Old Nobodaddy. This is the idea that he's nobody's daddy, and in fact I think we're getting Old Nobodaddy in this poem. This is a picture of that type of God abandoning us and leaving us in a bleak world. Again, you know, it makes us think of the chimney sweeper, doesn't it? In this bleak picture that he's drawing in the world of innocence, there's a real contrast between, you know, especially a poem like The Shepherd, isn't it? Where we have the shepherd who is a sort of Christ-like figure looking after his flock. This is the opposite, isn't it? The little boy found. The little boy lost in the lonely fen, led by the wandering light, began to cry, but God ever nigh appeared like his father in white. He kissed the child, and by the hand led to his mother brought, who in sorrow pale through the lonely dale her little boy weeping sought. So we have now the genuine father who is nigh. Remember we used that word in The Shepherd, didn't he? This idea, ever nigh, he's ever near, and he's in us, and he appears to the child and he kisses him. This is interesting, isn't it? This idea of kissing and being affectionate is very important for Blake, and we saw it in Spring, didn't we, where the little lamb is kissed by the poet, who's possibly God as well. So we have an idea, don't we, of that God is about being affectionate and close and caring for someone, and always being there, you know, rescuing them when they're in need, when they're in the lonely fen. I think the poem has a deeply sort of symbolic quality to it, that we've all been a child lost in the lonely fen at some point in our lives, and Blake seems to be suggesting this type of father, the Jesus Christ-like God, is always close and to his mother brought, and he brings him to his mother. It's interesting, he doesn't bring him to his father, does he? The father in the first poem seems to have abandoned him, this sort of what we called old nobodaddy, this kind of distant figure who doesn't speak to his child, and the mother is delighted to see the child. She's been in sorrow pale through the lonely dale, her little boy weeping sore. She's been looking for the child. So what I would like to suggest here, and you might disagree with me, is that this poem is giving us a picture of two different types of father. It's indeed two different types. The father who is cold, distant, not caring, essentially abandons a child, and that father is possibly a critique of a certain kind of type, a vision of Christian God, the old nobodaddy. And then we've got the other type of father, the Jesus Christ-like father, who is always close to a child, who is caring and affectionate, who helps. So we've got two sort of types of parenthood to imagine there.